Oh no, we don't say buongiorno anymore, do we? What do we say now?
Hola.
No, the equivalent.
Buenos. It's not Buenos tardes. Ah, for flip's sake. You can't start me off like this.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. It was in my head. Buenos dias. Buenos dias.
Morning, everybody.
Yeah. Good morning.
For all four of you.
Yeah, for all four of our fans. Well, first of all, welcome to another
Exciting.
Mark and Mac adventure. Now, seriously, for this one, you do need to go and get a cup of coffee.
Yeah, maybe and some tissues.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an adventure. So, last time we had a chat, we were in the safety of Palermo.
Well, relative safety.
Yeah, relative safety. We can come on to that too. But I mean, is that a week ago?
I don't know. It seems like about 6 months ago.
It was about a week ago, maybe a bit longer, when we made it into Palermo, and then we holed up there for a few days. And I suppose the best place to start really is that wet day, whatever it was, that Thursday, if that's what it was. We were welcoming 2 new crew members on board.
Medicaid Day.
Yeah, Medicaid Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Ian Brown and my son Zach, who were joining us, and they were coming in on a late flight, tea time. And I decided that, since we're in port, let's get a nice shower, let's get cleaned up, let's put some on clean clothes instead of the ones I've been wearing for a week. We both had, so you can't shower. If you're having a shower, you both have to have a shower.
Excuse me.
Not together.
I was washing and changing every day.
Yeah, I moved bollocks, you were right. Anyway, so I got cleaned up, and it was pissing.
He looked very nice, I might add.
It was pissing
and
rain.
Smelling nice and everything.
Yeah.
And it was the first rain we'd had for a while, wasn't it? They got greyer and greyer during the day.
And
then about 10 minutes before the boys were in the taxi when they come into it, and it just started tipping it down.
So I thought, right, got the call, be there in 10 minutes. So I decided, right, I'm ready, let's go. All my clean clothes, all the rest of it.
You look lovely leaving.
Yeah, I did. Now, it was wet even just walking from down there to the back of the boat. But walking across the gangplank, something happened. I still don't know what it was. But down I went, and then I went. But on the way down, I somehow managed to grab hold of the passerelle and really wrecked my ribs. And I only got wet from the knees down.
It was like a scolded cat.
Yeah.
I heard a plaintive Mark from outside. I thought, oh no, because you had to during the day the swell had got up inside the port, so you had to kind of time your sort of going up or going down the gangplank because otherwise, it
was like a fun ride at Botland.
It was, yeah, it was. It was literally a walk in the plank, actually, wasn't it?
She was.
So when I heard Mark from outside, I thought, I know what's happened. And I went out, and Bob was holding onto the gangplank like this. And I looked at him, and only his legs were in the water. And I thought, how on earth did you manage that? Luckily, we had the gangplank tied at both ends with line. And they'd sort of gone taut as the boat had gone and the gangplank had fallen down. And he'd managed to hold onto the gangplank and sort of wriggle himself round. And then I gave him a hand, and he got himself out, and literally he was only wet from the knees down. I've never seen anything quite like it. It was unbelievable. But anyway, sorry.
But the boots were full.
But the boots were full of water. They were indeed. So I said to him,
I still don't know how you managed to get me back on board, but you did. So,
so I said, do you want to change your shoes? He went, no, I'll be fine like this. He walked off, and I could hear him squelching down the dock for at least 20 metres.
It was that, yeah, it was like a cartoon ship. And and I was pissing it down. So by the time, I waited 5 minutes for the lads to arrive, and I was soaked to the skin anyway. I was absolutely drenched. And it was really fun. I did one of those things where I stood and leaned up against the lamppost, pulled my boots out, and emptied the water out. But because of the big woolly socks on, they held. Oh man!
I mean, if he'd gone in, he would have gone down like a stone.
So when the Zach and Ian got in the car, Zach goes, "What happened to you?" Squashing my way back up to the dock. And then it was a bit of getting them on board.
Getting the boys on board was another. I can't believe we managed to get 4 out of 4, to be honest.
And I was a bit.
The boat was we were tied onto our. Well, it's a long story, but all the boats. There was a big surge in the port, so all the boats were going backwards and forwards, and we was probably moving, I don't know, 2 meters backwards and forwards and up and down. So you really had to wait until all the lines went slack when you knew the boat was close to the dock, and then get across and then pull up tight again.
And there was quite an angle.
Yes, and wet.
And the plank was wet, and it had been dipped in, it had fallen in, and there was oil and all on it. So yeah, it was a bit lethal. It was certainly an it's knockout game.
Yeah, it was an it's knockout game.
But we got everybody on board, and that was cool. But I suppose that you've already mentioned the Medicaine. So
the Medicaine, this is not medical insurance.
Yeah, it's not an anaesthetic.
No, nor an anaesthetic.
But basically, describe it.
Well, I mean, the Medicaine is a name they've given it over the last few years, but basically it's a small cyclonic wind in the Mediterranean, Medicaine, as opposed to hurricane. It's a Medicaine because it's in the Med. And anyway, there was a low pressure on the south coast of Italy, where we'd just come from, incidentally, when we went to Palermo. And there was a low pressure forming, and another low pressure storm in the southern Ionian during the winter.
It was new,
exactly
for us.
And then I got a phone. This sort of low got deeper, but we weren't paying much attention to it because we were on the other side of the island anyway, safely in port.
And there wasn't a lot of wind with us.
Well, we weren't. No, it was typical pre-hurricane conditions.
Yeah.
Actually, it was wet and calm.
Yeah.
And then I got a phone call from a girlfriend of mine, and she said, "Well, whereabouts are you in Sicily?" So I said, "I'm in Palermo." She went, "Oh, thank God for that. If you know, they've evacuated the south coast and they've closed all the schools for tomorrow, and they're on red alert for storm surge." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I sort of looked on the news, went on the internet, and sure enough, there's this Medicaine beating the hell out of southern Italy.
Southern Italy, I mean, it was
where we had been previously a couple of days, but it trashed the place, and they closed all the schools, and mudslides and landslides and torrential rain, and you name it. So we were very, very happy to be where we were at that point, weren't we?
Rough and all as it was in the harbour.
Rough as it was in the harbour, I mean, yeah.
It's a good place to get your sea legs, wasn't it?
That's right, because then the Medicaine, the sort of the remnants or the outside circle of the wind hit us, and then it got very, very wet and very windy. They had waves in the port. The locals were going, "We've never seen anything like this for 30 years." Yeah. The surge was incredible. I put extra lines on our boat. Woke up the morning after the boys arrived, and our second mooring line on the bow had parted. The first one parted a few days before, and I'd fixed up a couple of springs to the neighbours' boats and informed the authorities. "Oh, yeah, we'll come and fix that tomorrow." And okay, fine. "You've still got one, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah, I've still got one, and I put some spray." Okay, good.
Who needs two?
That's right. And then the Medicaine came, and our second. Well, it wasn't actually. I got up in the middle of the night, didn't I? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, I do remember. And so the wind was picking up all night. I mean, the boat really was. She was moving a lot, and you could hear the wind whistling through the rigging and
all the lines going taut,
everything, all that sort of stuff. But I think it was about 5 o'clock. I heard Mark go up on deck for a check, and I kind of went, "There's no point me getting up. He's up there. I'll just stay on here. I'll just wrap myself up." And after about 30 minutes, he was still up there, and I thought, "Oh, bloody hell, I better get up because he's not up there for the view." So I come up on deck, and then Mark had told me that we'd lost the second line, and
we weren't attached. We weren't attached to anything.
Yep. So thankfully the wind was blowing the right way to blow us off the dock.
Yeah, and also we had what I did. I put springs onto the. Sorry, this bit bored, a bit techie. This bit. I put springs onto the neighbour's boat. Yeah, sorry, Dean. And then took one of he had 4 bow lines on his boat going to the seabed. So I climbed over onto his boat, took one of his off, put it onto our boat, got that tight. It went on for ages.
So,
but we were okay.
Yeah, and we'd moved fenders and all the rest of it. So
sorry, Bob came up 45 minutes later and moved a fender.
Yeah, I think. I might even have moved. Yeah, I might have moved one. Yeah, It took me 20 minutes to get all my wet gear on, knees up in the socks. So there was no point going back to bed after that. And
so that we go somewhere. We'll slip lines and go, sure.
Yeah, just let's go for it. So yeah, that was a highlight of the night the boys arrived. It was a Tuesday, I think it was a Tuesday. And then of course we watched the forecast, and we knew we were going to be there for at least Wednesday, possibly Thursday. And there was we're looking at a really good window developing on the Friday.
Yeah.
And we were all geared up for it. Thursday, Friday, we're all geared up to it. We're really going to go. And this bloody Medicaid hit us and all the rest of it. But the interesting thing was the forecast was showing us, good time to go, no waves, no anything. The wind was blowing the right
proper
direction.
wind.
Yep.
Waves have gone down.
Mark says, I'm off to speak to the local boys. And off he went. And came back half an hour later with a story.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. I went to see a guy called Ben who runs one of the marinas in thing. And I thought, it all looks good, but we just had huge winds come through here, and the waves on the other side of the island were between 7 and 8 meters. I mean, this was just huge for anywhere. So I thought, well, that's not going to. I don't think that's calmed down yet. And I went to see this guy Ben, and he said, we were chatting away, and he said, "What's?" I said, "I think we're thinking of going tomorrow morning." He went, "No." I went, "No." He went, "No. It's suicide."
Yeah.
I went, "Really?" I said, "I know it'd be a bit bouncy, but he went, no, do not go. I forbid you to go." I said, "Okay." He said, "This is my job." No, no. And he was very, very adamant.
He was quite.
So I thought, well, no, that's good enough for me. I'm not going anywhere. And as I walked back, I saw the Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard boys were just about to slip lines and get in the boats ready. So I stopped and had a chat with them. They went, "No, we don't want to go out. You're insane. Just stay exactly where you are. Do not go anywhere until the day after tomorrow." Yeah. Which was Sunday, because it was Friday we were changing.
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay, great." He said, "Well, where are you off to?" He said, "Well, we're going to go rescue. We just had pan in from a tanker that's got lost an engine, and we've got to go and try and help him." And it was bedlam.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'll go back and I
Deliver the good news.
I told the boys, I went, "You might want to go, but I'm not going." So they sort of, "Well, what's wrong?" I said, "No, just don't go." All the Coast Guard and the local lads have said, just go and enjoy a plate of pasta, have a bottle of wine, stay in,
chill for an extra day.
And I think it's probably was one of the best bits of advice I've ever been given, actually.
Yes, it absolutely was.
Because we then had a terrific passage.
We did. But, before that, the ship that had been accompanying us, the yacht Zatara.
Oh, Zatara, yeah. They were most upset, weren't they?
They were very upset. They were definitely going on Friday morning. Yeah. They saw the weather forecast, which looked, this was the super duper weather forecaster from America, wasn't it? Yeah, and if you hadn't had the locals telling you what to do, you would have gone.
Probably would have gone, yeah.
So they took it quite hard that we weren't going, and they slipped from an 8 a.m. departure to a 12 noon departure to 6 p.m. departure to bugger it, we're staying, let's go out for dinner together.
Yeah.
And
which was very funny.
Yeah, it was a good night, yeah. So,
don't go to Texas. Or do, I don't know, depending on what you're into.
So we all had what was the 3 crew and our 4 crew. And Robert very kindly ponied up for the
well,
lot.
he did, but it was a nice reminder. He phoned. He said, "Where are you going for dinner?" And Robin said, "Yep, if you're paying." Having been there guiding light since the beginning of the adventure,
they owed us that.
We figured that they should buy us dinner, and they did very kindly. It was very kind of them, actually.
Yeah,
it was a good night.
It was an entertaining night. Yeah, probably best not to put much of it on the blog, but it was
funny as hell.
It was good. Yeah. It was good.
Tony, you're a legend. Kat, so are you. And Robert, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was good. Good crack. We were rather noisy coming home, yeah. So the next day, the day that we didn't go, that we wanted to go, was absolutely stunning, wasn't it? It was shorts and t-shirts weather. So it was like, you're sitting in the harbour and you're looking
with shorts and t-shirts?
Yeah, when? For us Irish it was.
When was that?
On the day that we wanted to go, but we were told not to go. Was glorious.
The day it was fantastic. It was really hard to keep the horses under control because they're all looking at me going, "What do you mean we can't go? Look at it. What do you mean we can't go? Look at it."
Sunny day. So the lads went off and had a wee look around Palermo, and Zach took a million pictures and all the rest of it. So that brings us up to departure, which we had agreed was at 7 a.m.
Yep.
Slip the moorings and.
Yeah, everyone was up, slightly hungover, but in pretty good shape. And we were out by 7, weren't we, with Zatara?
Yep, she was out just slightly ahead of us, and off we went. I can't even remember what direction we were headed after that.
After Palermo?
Yeah. Well, I know we were heading east towards Ciutadella.
Sort of like east-north-east, wasn't it?
Yep, and it was a good day. Some nice sailing.
We had good wind.
In fact, that was
we broke all records.
Yeah. We came out of Palermo and we were hitting 10 knots.
Yeah, we had the boat up to 10 knots. It was just ridiculous. And we did
180 miles.
180 miles in 24 hours.
Yeah, and we'd have been pleased with 150. I would have suggested.
Yeah.
But we did 180 and screamed it along.
We did. We got to Sardinia. It's the quickest by a long chalk that I've gone from Sicily to Sardinia. That's for sure.
It was good and en route.
And the sea was flat, and the wind was perfect. The sea was flat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a super.
That sort of
it was just,
extra 12 hours or 24 hours that we were told to wait made all the difference.
Big time.
We had a very comfortable ride because we were sailing so fast. Well, we were just flying along.
Yeah.
People were able to get a good night, get good sleep because the boat was flat, the sea was nice. We shot through that, and we got within sight of Sardinia. Things were looking great, weren't they?
Yeah. And we'd had a lovely dinner, chicken soup.
Oh, the chicken soup.
Yeah, was that day?
Don't know.
Can't remember. Yeah, because we'd spent a couple of days prepping up, cooking just before Ian and
we cooked all the meals for the journey for the boys, didn't we?
Zach arrived. Yeah, so he did 3 and I did a couple, and all in the freezer. So there's no bother when you're sailing along. Everybody gets wrecked the longer you go in. It's just a matter of pulling something out, and we'd agreed that would be a time when we'd all be together. Because we were on a 3-hour watch system.
24/7.
So you're basically up, on deck, down, sleeping.
And at this point, I might add, Robin and I both got very excited because on leaving Palermo and heading for Sardinia, if things went well, all we could talk about was, I think we can get home.
Yeah, I think we can do this.
This
in a oneer.
I think we can do this in one go. And so we from our stop-start scenario at the beginning of the trip,
which took us 4
we've suddenly
weeks.
gone completely 180 degrees to, it looks like we can do what we really want to do, which is just keep going for as long as we need to get home. And that was going brilliantly.
And we passed the south coast of Sardinia. Okay, the wind dropped. And the next day we were only averaging 7 knots, which you can't imagine.
Oh, that's terrible. Awful.
And we did 160 miles, I think, the next day, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yeah.
But that was shorts and t-shirt day.
Yeah.
I mean, the wind was behind us.
Summer's day, wasn't it, almost?
I mean, Zach had the top off even.
Yeah, he did, briefly.
Sort of mid-afternoon. It was a fantastic day sailing. The south coast of Sardinia was beautiful.
Stunning.
You had booked us into a marina just in case.
Yep. Calaforte, if you ever get a chance to go to Calaforte, guys, it's so heaven.
I think it was one of those ones that if we weren't trying to do what we were doing, we'd have been in.
I was lamenting the fact that we got stuck in Crotone, and we still got stuck in Le Castel with the fishermen, and we just sailed merrily past all of my favourite places.
Beautiful. So passing Sardinia, then it was on to the Balearics, which again was, well, first of all, Palermo to Sardinia is no walk in the park. I mean, it's a big lump of water to cross.
Yeah, 260
overnight,
miles,
and we had agreed with Satara that we'd stay in station, but they fecked off.
There's something lost in translation. They just
off they went. So we lost them. So we were on our own. But I mean, it was
really annoying. Actually, it was really annoying. We slowed down to let them catch up, so we'd cruise together at night.
And then
we slowed down because we had a small emergency with a flooded toilet.
That's right.
Do you remember?
Yep.
So we had to slow down and get the boat flat so we could bail out the shower tray because the pump had stopped working.
Yeah. It wasn't the boat sinking. That was the most important thing to check.
It was one of those things. We were
so far over.
We were belting along, and then suddenly somebody came up and said to me, "We've got flood in the toilet." Oh
Toilet's
no!
Full
really?
of water.
Doing 8 knots. There's big sea, loads of wind. Everyone's sort of holding on, looking around, going, "Fucking hell! Is this funny or is this good or bad?" And we get a flooded toilet, and the night's just coming.
Yeah.
And also Zatara's about 30 metres off. So I can't really manoeuvre to get the boat flat anyway. So I have to sort of go out and slow down and go behind Zatara to get the boat flat so we can bail the toilet out. At which point they didn't notice that we were doing something odd or out of the ordinary. They just kept going. So we called them up and they didn't respond. And that was the last time we spoke to them, wasn't it? And they just kept going. So they saw we were in trouble and kept going. Which was kind of defeated the whole thing, really, didn't it? Anyway, we bailed the toilet out and that sort of worked.
Ian came up with it. It was very. It was one of those expressions where you didn't really believe there was something happening. He says, "The toilet's full of water." It's something like that, Sorry about the accent, but it was really funny. It was there was no panic, no nothing. It was just no urgency.
No.
Wow. He says it opened the door and it was full of water. What? fuck me.
That's not good. Anyway, it wasn't anything major. It was. I think we got a problem with a
broken valve. A broken
shower tray valve
pump.
Whatever,
yeah. So we backwards and forwards here. Anyway, so that was a big lump of water.
The showers anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be clean. So that stretch of water is about what 250, 260 miles.
Wasn't it?
So the next hop to the Balearics from the southern coast of Sardinia is more or less equal. And we'd got a lovely start to the day, and we were making good progress, and we were very happy bunnies, to say the least.
We got within spitting distance of Minorca, didn't we? Within Mahon, and that was it. We were already making. Suddenly we came back into radio contact with friends, family, loved ones, and pets.
I need to jump in here.
Go,
because this shows you the state of play in this yacht. So everybody's watching for a bit of 4G as soon as we hit Minorca, and I'm standing down below with my phone, and this didn't include Ian, by the way, but Mark and Zach are sitting looking at us, and as soon as we got 4G, all you heard was bing, bing, bing. Everybody's doing Duolingo. As soon as we didn't lose our streak. Never mind loved ones, we're safe, or the weather. It's fucking Duolingo.
Okay, great.
Did you get your streak in? Yeah, we're okay. Oh yeah, I better contact home. That was so funny. It was just the three of us at the same time, straight on the Duolingo, never mind anything else.
That was funny.
Keep the streak safe.
Oh, which reminds me, actually.
Yeah.
We've got to do ours today before we leave.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think maybe we'll see in a minute. What's next?
So, yeah, that was all good. And
dolphins.
Oh yeah,
night dolphins.
Wow,
fantastic, amazing. We had a bunch of dolphins that came around the boat at night. The phosphorescence in the water was, they were like torpedoes zooming around underneath and across the bow. We had about 15 minutes of them, I suppose.
I mean, it was like a Disney movie, where there was fairy dust coming out of them. And it's just unfortunate we couldn't video it. But turtles, yeah.
So three big turtles within the space of
minding their own
half
business.
An hour, weren't they?
Yeah, it was. So that really lifted spirits, didn't it? It was just before dawn.
Yeah.
And it does get to you 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 3 off. I mean, it's not a walk in the park, as we keep saying, and it's a trudge, but it's what that's why you do it. I mean, we're out at night, and you're seeing the stars like nobody else ever sees them. Complete darkness.
It was Valentine's Day as well, wasn't it? Is that why you're getting romantic?
No, I didn't think about that. I was looking at the stars, and you can see the Milky Way. I can see the Milky Way. My eyesight's shit, and I can see the Milky Way. And fantastic. And the dolphins just made that night sail disappear like that. And off we're bombing up through Minorca. We could see the lights from maybe 20 miles away. You could see the glow 25, 30 miles away. You could see the glow in the sky. Started to pick up the lighthouses, and people were then starting to think about, well, we'll be in. We were actually. I stuck my neck out. I said we'll be there for 20 hours, and we were organising. Zach's girlfriend was flying in. Ian organised his flight home, and we were all thinking about taking turns to get a shower so that we would all smell sweet when we hit Barcelona. And I went to bed. I was on 12 to 3, and went to bed, and the next thing I know, about 4 o'clock, Zach came down and shook me and gave me he says, Dad, you have to get up. Mark thinks the engine's broken. And I went, if Mark thinks it's broken, it is broken. The first thing I saw when I came out of the bunk, I looked at the chart plotter, and I instantly knew we'd done a 180 and we were going somewhere, but it wasn't Barcelona. So I came up to Mark and he went, you take it on.
Yeah, I said,
do the backstory.
Some bad news, my friend. And this is it was
more.
It was just desperate. We were 25 miles offshore. We'd left Mahon in the Ciutadella, which was the last point of Minorca, in our wake. And I couldn't quite see the lights of Barcelona, but it wasn't far coming. And then all of a sudden, the engine went. And I'm like, are you? No, you can't be serious.
Because it had been running for.
It had been running for
47 hours.
A long
or
time.
It was a long time.
And I just know. No, I know. Really, this can't be possible. We're nearly home. We've had all these dilemmas and adventures and problems and issues and all the rest, and now everything's been going fantastically for the last 3 days. And when we're in, I can smell Barcelona. The engine goes, no, I'm going to treat you to another one now. So the engine starts back up, and I look at the chart. I've got 100. We got about 100 miles to run, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go wandering off into the wide blue yonder when the engine's just told me that it's not feeling well. So it broke my heart, but I did a 180-degree turn, and luckily I know the port of Ciutadella, which is on the western tip of Menorca. And we trundled back there at low speed just to nurse the engine back in. And also we had daylight coming in about 2.5 hours from then. So I thought, well, let's go slow and get back there, and we'll go in in the dawn and seek shelter and another mechanic. So
yeah, but there was a lot of bad language.
Was that?
Whenever we delivered the news, when we all...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the disappointment was palpable.
We were, because we've been trying to get here. We've been trying to get to this, where we're going for, well, I can't remember.
Early January, 2nd of January.
And we're literally there.
And the guys had just booked tickets. As I said, Caitlin had just booked her ticket to fly in. And we're not actually going to Barcelona.
I'm never going to get off this boat. We're never going to finish this journey.
And all I'm going, what can be wrong with that bloody engine now?
So then came the day of fixing stuff, didn't it? Which was yesterday. I'll start.
No, hang on a minute.
Okay.
Because we were really lucky on the way in. Coming in at 7 a.m.
Ciutadella, yeah.
Yeah, and we managed to get Ian and Zach on the 10 o'clock ferry. And a taxi to get them there.
No, it was crazy.
We bang.
We went to Ciutadella, and we went onto the fuel dock. All the laid moorings they have not been laid they take them up during the winter and then relay them in the season starts. So the port is like bereft of anything to tie onto, apart from the fuel dock and the visitors dock. We went to the visitors dock, and there wasn't enough water there. Yeah. So we're familiar with that one.
Surprisingly, the depth gauge read 0.
So we moved from there. And
I'm not saying
the visitor's dock as a visitor, you've only got a canoe.
Yeah.
So we moved from there and went back to where the original moorings are usually laid, but went side to as opposed to stern to. Anyway, a friendly marinero came up to me and, "You can't stop there, mate." I went, all right, well, where? He said, "I don't know, but you can't stop there." I said, "Well, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to try and find somewhere." He said, "All right then." Yeah. So I wandered off and found a very friendly lady who'd just come to work in Nautica after having a long discussion with a girl from IB Port. She said, "You can't come in because you've not been rescued." And she said, "Yes, there's a place for you just up the way there. I'll send one of the boys to help." Anyway, we got tied up, and we're probably tied up and ready to start fixing things again. By about 8:30, wasn't it?
Yeah, because literally it was, "I've booked you on the ferry, lads."
Yeah.
Mark phoned the taxi. Taxi arrived, and it was like 5 minutes they were gone, packed up and gone.
Yeah.
Which was great.
With a tear in their eye.
Yeah, with a tear in their eye. It was quite emotional. And then it was like, for them, a 9-hour ferry crossing from Menorca to Alcudia back to Barcelona. And we booked hotels and stuff. So then that's
brilliant piece of administration. Unbelievable. I was impressed. Meanwhile, I was busy trying to find a mechanic who could come again
today.
Right now, and so give us some heads up and idea of what's going on. Anyway, very nice guy.
He could talk.
Yeah. God, Jesus. What was his name? Miguel showed up, and he talked for about an hour before he picked up a screwdriver.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Which always makes you think, oh no, really, this guy, he could talk his way.
Yeah, he was amazing.
When's he going to do anything? Anyway, he did do stuff, and he's put on a modification to a filter, and we took the filter out of the main tank, and that was all covered in stuff, and it was yesterday went on and on and on forever. And then I thought, okay, right, well, I need to get some fuel. We need to get some fuel because the fuel we took out of the tank and looked at it was dirty and grotty. It was nasty fuel. I don't know what we got sold in Italy, but it didn't look great, did it?
Yeah, it was full of lumps.
Yeah, lumpy fuel. So fuel was the next quest. So I said to Chatty Men.
Yeah. Because Miguel was very, very punctual all the time, wasn't he?
Well, he was only an hour late. I said to him, well, we're going to fill up in the morning. He said, well, I don't think you will because we've got no fuel tomorrow. The fuel dock's closed. I went, what?
Having a holiday?
How's that? He said, no, we've got the Endesa are coming to fix to check all the electrics tomorrow, so the fuel dock's closed. I'm like, oh no. So we're going to get the engine fixed, and then we're stuck another day because we haven't got the right fuel because we took the shitty fuel out, and now we want to put good fuel in, but we can't do that because but that was even worse because if we'd been stuck today in Mahon waiting for Ciutadella waiting for the fuel dock to open, we would have missed our weather window, and the Mistral's coming the day after tomorrow, which would have put us right in the path of it,
and we'd have been stuck in Menorca
for another week.
Yep.
And at this point, I was losing the will to live. I thought, I can't cope with this.
I just put
anyway.
I
had a light bulb moment. And thought, right, jerry cans. I'm going to get a load of jerry cans, and I'm going to fill them, and we're going to at least get half a tank full or enough fuel to get home. So you try and find a jerry can in Menorca in the winter during siesta.
At 4:30 in the afternoon.
I went to the gas station. Have you got anything I can put the fuel in? No. Yeah. I said, what are they then? He said, well, but you can't use them. I said, why? He said, they're ours. I said, no, I'm not going to take them. I said, can you lend them to me? No, we can't use those. If they see me lending them to you, I'll get in big trouble. So that's one of those like, Anyway, luckily, Chatty Man has also a shop, and he sold us 4 jerry cans, which we then proceeded to fill, empty, until we got 160 odd litres of good fuel. Thank you, Cepsa, for the good fuel, hopefully. And,
Touch wood.
And at that point, we looked at each other and we realised that we'd actually been on the go for about 30 hours without a wink.
Any sleep. Because I think when we get in, the disappointment plus, the adrenaline disappeared, and we were just bollocksed.
Yeah.
I mean, at one stage you were like, I had to pick myself up off the floor a couple of times.
We went and sat down for lunch and went, I need a pep talk.
Yeah.
I need a pep talk. Just tell me something good. Because at that point, his face yesterday afternoon when I was talking to him about the fuel being closed, and he's like,
to me that was worse than the engine brake.
You changed colour and everything. I haven't seen you quite so.
What? Are you for real?
The frustration was just,
no
what?
Fuel?
No fuel.
Fucking hell.
We got an hour to get some. Anyway,
I just thought I was just resigned to the fact, fuck it, we're here. We're stuck again.
You just kept saying, it's a nice place though.
It's
trying to convince yourself that if we are stuck here, at least it's somewhere decent.
Somewhere now. I mean, it's beautiful. I'll be back there.
It's stunning.
So between the two of us, we managed to, I think you called it a fixing day. It was just non-stop, one issue after another, resolve it, fix it, resolve it, and it was just...
They kept coming out, didn't they?
They kept coming out of the woodwork.
The curved balls.
So I think we got more or less... Well, you arrived in like the Black Magic tray man. What do you call it? Milk tray man?
Milk tray man.
Yeah, or something. What is it?
On the speedboat with the fuel.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Because these jerry cans, they're 20 litres, so they weigh 50 pounds each, or 20 kilos. So you got 2, and you can't do 4 trips. It's a lot. It was a long way from the fuel dock to the boat. So I had another light bulb moment as I was approaching the fuel dock with all the jerry cans. My new best friend Danny was the guy who took our lines in the morning, and I'd sort of gone to him and asked him all sorts of questions during the day about how do I do this or what do I do that and where do I find so and so. He was the guy who found the chatty mechanic.
He's a good lad.
So I said, Danny, I need some help. He said, what? I said, and he was the guy. He was also the petrol pump guy. So he said, right, when you fill these cans up for me, I need you and me to go in your Zodiac back to my boat. Yeah, okay. I thought, fantastic. So we filled the cans, put them in the Zodiac, then he took us to the boat in the Zodiac, emptied the cans, took the cans back up, refilled it, and it was good. It was the best €20 we ever spent, I think.
Well, and it didn't mean your arms were 4 inches longer either side.
I would have done it. Find somebody else to do your lifting and carrying.
Paid somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think last night there was a good sense of relief on, let's go for it here.
That's where we are now.
And here we are, about, I don't know what we are.
Don't even look.
No, we're out in the middle.
Yeah.
We're on our way to Barcelona, hopefully making it this time. All the signs are good, but never count your chickens. Don't think we'll relax until we actually get in.
No, until those lines are on.
Yeah, and I'm sure we've missed half the crap that happened.
All the backstories.
Yeah.
There's loads.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah.
We'll bore you with those when we see you in person.
It's been a test and you know, having had such a brilliant couple of days sailing to, you know,
to got to break
get
down,
the rug pulled from under you.
to have that taken away from you.
yeah.
As we're on our way, we've left all the islands behind. We're on our way to our last destination.
I was looking for the glow in the sky.
And Lady Luck said, "Not yet. Wait. Don't be so fast."
The joys of sailing.
Indeed, it was great.
Yeah. So we can see Mallorca. And we can see Menorca.
Barcelona's that way.
Yeah. So we're heading the right way. It looks like it'll be.
Are you still awake, by the way, you lot?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm sure the pause button.
Well, the one of you that is still awake.
Pause button is very useful. I know my mother will watch it all. I can promise.
All right, good. That's right. Roomba. My Jack Russell will watch it all as well because she hasn't seen me for about a year. All right,
so there you go, folks.
That's it.
So, thanks for watching.
Yeah, there will be a debrief at the other end, hopefully in about 16 hours.
Yeah. So, see you later.
Toodle pip.
Bye.
Adios.
Adios,
Hasta luego.
amigos.
Ciao, ciao.